My wife is unique in many ways. She is a beautiful woman. She's very intelligent and caring and loving, great mother, now grandmother. But she has another genetic gift. She doesn't exercise as regular as she would like, but when she does exercise, she really just does very moderate exercise. I've never seen her do any kind of vigorous exercise, but yet her body just responds. I mean, her muscles, and it's just a genetic gift that she has. I would not get that much benefit if I exercise the way she does. So I have to step it up and really push myself. One of the most motivational people that I have followed and read his books is David Goggins. And one of the things that David Goggins is fond to say is embrace the suck. He operates at a totally different level of pushing himself to extreme levels of physical performance. But when it comes to exercise, there's just an element of this that you just have to accept the fact that if you're going to do HIIT training, it's not going to all be enjoyable. The benefits that you're going to get are tremendous, but to get through it, you just got to suck it up. And it's just something that you do. It's like brushing your teeth every day. It's just part of your routine of your life. If you want to get all of the benefits that can be reaped from doing high intensity interval training. One thing that science has found, there's a part of our brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And what they have found is this portion of the brain tends to respond to pushing ourselves to doing things that we really don't want to do, but are good for us, like with HIIT training, for example. Or we'll talk in a later video about cold immersion, different things that we just kind of maybe dread, but we just push through it. Really high level athletes have this portion of their brain actually grows and becomes thicker because of, again, the regular habit of pushing yourself to doing the things that you really don't want to do. It's kind of like what we call the grit area or the tenacious area of your brain. Here in this study published in Cortex, they talk about the tenacious brain and how the anterior mid-cingulate contributes to achieving goals. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is an important network hub in the brain that performs the cost-benefit computations necessary for tenacity. In other words, it's the part of your brain that makes that assessment of whether this activity that I really don't want to do is worth it. This part of your brain has been found to be larger and thicker in individuals that are not only healthier, but live longer. So here is some comments in the journal The Lancet, where these authors are discussing this concept we're talking about. Previous studies have reported greater cortical thickness and better brain network functional connectivity in the anterior mid-cingulate cortex in superagers than in age-matched peers. Additionally, our own group has also demonstrated that both the thickness and the degree of connectivity of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, an important region involved in the neurocircuitry of underlying successful aging, predicts better memory performance in both superagers and typical older adults. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is a densely connected hub sitting at the intersection of the brain networks that are preserved in superaging and involved in a variety of functions, including attention, memory, executive function, and motivation. Thus, the greater performance of superagers relative to typical older adults might not only be a result of better memory function, but could also reflect differences in motivation, executive function, and persistence in the face of difficulty, which suggests that superagers have a higher level of tenacity than typical older adults. It pays to push yourself. It does, to do the things that we know that are good for us and are healthy, and we're going to get paid back by having a longer, healthier life. Now, if we're going to go through the effort to push ourselves to really exercise, let's talk about the fun part, and that's the aftermath. When you exercise, particularly vigorously, you are almost bathing your brain in just a pool of various neurochemicals. These neurochemicals do various things that makes us feel good, and we're talking about dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, noradrenaline, and even growth factors. So when we exercise, we know that we're going to increase the level of dopamine in our brain, which is our reward hormone. This is considered to be the feel-good hormone. Oxytocin is the love hormone, known to help you increase trust, in the person that you're with. Serotonin is the calming hormone, which gives you a sense of well-being and happiness. And endorphins is what a lot of people refer to as the runner's high, those who run a lot. But you get the same thing from vigorous weight training and cardiovascular work like HIIT training, and it gives you a feeling of euphoria and pleasure. This is something that you just is one of, it's not the only reason to exercise, but if it was, it'd almost be worth it because it just makes you feel so good. And also, you get this sense of feeling that you did something good for yourself and you did the right thing. And that gives you a sense of well-being and just helps your self-esteem that you're not being lazy and doing what everyone else is doing, but you're doing what you need to do to enhance your health. And you're going to get the benefits of that right away and, of course, long term. Because of the release of these various neurochemicals, this is part of the reason why exercise has such a profound effect on helping people with depression. Here, if we look at this study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, they are looking at 97 reviews of various studies, and they came to the conclusion that physical activity is highly beneficial for improving symptoms of depression, anxiety, and distress across a wide range of adult populations. Physical activity should be a mainstay approach in the management of depression and anxiety and psychological distress. The authors talk about in 2019, 1 in 8 people, which is 970 million people worldwide, were affected by a mental health disorder. And almost 1 in 2 will experience a mental health disorder in their lifetime. The annual global cost of mental health disorders have been estimated at $2.5 trillion, which is projected to increase to $6 trillion by 2030. Depression and various mental disorders is a real major health issue worldwide. Implementing vigorous exercise into our lifestyle really can help mitigate the symptoms and the problems related to this. In this study published in Psychosomatic Medicine, they also talk about major depressive disorder is a significant health problem with a lifetime prevalence of 15 to 20%. That's going to affect a lot of people. And it ranks 4th among the leading cause of disability adjusted life years worldwide. Projections for the year 2020 indicate that this major depressive disorder will be second only to coronary heart disease as a cause of illness burden worldwide. In this study, they found that after 4 months of treatment involving exercise, 41% of the participants achieved remission defined as no longer meeting the criteria for major depressive disorder. The efficacy of exercise in patients seems generally comparable with patients receiving antidepressant medication, and both tend to be better than placebo in patients with major depressive disorder. Here is another recent study published in 2024 on the effect of exercise for depression. They conclude exercise is an effective treatment for depression, with walking or jogging, yoga, and strength training more effective than other exercises, particularly when intense. These forms of exercise could be considered alongside psychotherapy and antidepressant as core treatments for depression. This should be something that if you are suffering with depression, you should discuss this with your medical physician. Let's look at this study here in the Annals of Internal Medicine. So what they are dealing with in this study is having the participants exercise 3 or more times per week. And the conclusion was that regular exercise is associated with a delay in the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's disease, further supporting its value for elderly people. Here in another study, they are reviewing several studies have found that physical activity counteracts age and Alzheimer's disease associated declines in mitochondrial and immune system function, and that exercise provides a powerful stimulus that can countervail the molecular changes that underlie the progressive loss of hippocampal function in advanced age and Alzheimer's disease. Now, the hippocampus is a very unique area of the brain. It's really one of the only areas that you can grow new nerve cells as an adult and even as you become an older adult. And the hippocampus is critically important for memory function, which obviously is involved with various forms of dementia. And one of the areas that we can stimulate the hippocampus and cause new nerve cell growth is through regular, moderate to intense exercise. Before you go, if you want to get the most health and longevity benefits from exercise without wasting time and overdoing it, I've put together a free guide that shows you how to move with purpose. The link is in the top of the description below. Click it and I'll send the guide straight to you. And if this video was helpful, please show your support by hitting the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos.